What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Realistic Summer Career Mode. This is episode number 45. We start today's episode off on the back of our scrape-through victory over Burnley at Turf Moor in the FA Cup third round, with a draw for the fourth round, and you know, it's very rare for this to happen, so I'm sure some of you guys will be pleased to see it. It does happen to me. Not very often, but every now and then. We've got a big team in the fourth round of the FA Cup. Yep, Arsenal in the last 32 away at the Emirates Stadium. You know, I've talked about this before and I'll say it once again. The reason why, you know, I am always the first to hold my hands up. Like, I always get luck in the cup draws. I very regularly get luck in my domestic cup draws. In England, I should say. It doesn't happen in the European League. So when I'm doing like a La Liga career mode or a Bundesliga career mode like I did this year, or if I'm in the Serie A or whatever, you know, I don't tend to get as lucky in my cup draws as I do when I'm managing in England. And the reason being is very simple maths. As we know, cup sets are quite frequent in FIFA career mode, and it does mean that a lot of the Football League sides go quite far in the FA Cup and also at times the EFL Cup as well. So it's not really that surprising. If you look at the teams that are remaining, we've got last 32 here, ton of Football League sides, absolute ton of Football League sides still remaining, which isn't too unrealistic, and it'll be the same in the last 16, I'm sure, as well. So, you know, I'm always quick to point that out. Yes, I do get the luck in the cup draws, and I'm the first person to hold my hands up in a minute, but it is basic maths, you know, because the Football League sides go further due to the amount of cup sets, and the fact there are 92 Football League sides. No, there's not. There's 72 Football League sides. Sorry. Yes, 92 in the top four. 72 Football League sides. Yeah, 72, you know, compared to 20 Premier League teams. Yeah, likelihood is you're probably going to get drawn against one of those Football League sides, particularly in the early rounds. But even so, this time, I don't get the luck. It is Arsenal away, Emirates Stadium. Tough one there. And heading into the first game of today's episode, Norwich City, the Canaries away at Carrow Road. And after a little bit of a tough patch of form, knocked out of the EFL Cup, first defeat in the Premier League to West Ham away. No chance at a domestic treble now. No chance of having an invincible season. We just scraped through Southampton. We just scraped through Burnley. I needed a big win to get back on track with Chelsea breathing down my necks. Norwich away. Gotta feel sorry for the Canaries, man. So often they are the whipping boys in the Premier League, and this was just another one of those times. Freeing it up in the first half. Haaland bagged the brace. Grealish had one as well. Out with 4 minutes to go in a game where I was in complete control. I'm going to be honest, I was a little bit cheeky in this game, to be honest. I scored 2 chip goals over the Dutch goalkeeper Tim Krul. There was the 4th of the game. A brace for Haaland, a brace for Grealish. Silva. Sorry, it was Silva who got the first goal in the first half. So Grealish got 1, Silva got 1, and Haaland was the guy that bagged the brace as well. 4-0 the final score though. Shut the door on the Canaries. Absolutely dominated from start to finish. Put 4 past them and locked them out as well. Big win there, and exactly what I needed. 3 straight wins in all competitions, and after a tough mini patch of form, losing a chance of the invincible season. I don't think I'll get another better chance in FIFA this year. Losing the chance of the invincible season, losing the chance of domestic treble. This is the response we needed. Into the FA Cup fourth round, and back-to-back wins and back-to-back clean sheets in the Premier League as well. Perfect timing for the following game. Crystal Palace. Massive clash here at the Etihad Stadium against my old team. Heading into the game, Lord knows I wanted to win it, just like at Selhurst Park, make it 4 straight wins in a row, keep Chelsea at bay. Well, not the start I wanted. Dwight McNeil takes an early tumble and Palace win a contentious penalty. Wilfried Zaha, who was my guy with Crystal Palace, I loved him, had the chance to put Palace in front, and he sends Ederson the wrong way. Yep, goal down to Crystal Palace inside the first quarter of an hour, and it was my fan favourite, my star boy up top, Wilfried Zaha, who bagged the opener 13 minutes in. So I was like, okay, alright, resilience. Let's see if we can put it on full display right here. So, 25 minutes in, we're still down by a goal. I'm putting a lot of pressure on Crystal Palace, trying to win the ball back very deep into their territory. Unfortunately, though, just couldn't beat Dean Henderson. We saw Calvin Phillips go down with an injury, and then from the corner, Reuben Diaz goes up for an acrobatic effort. He also goes down and stays down, and we see 2 injuries in the space of a few seconds. So we're still down by a goal, and now I've got Phillips going down with an injury, and Diaz down as well. You know those games of FIFA where just like nothing goes right for you? Yep, you're always going to get them every now and then in the season. This was going to be one of them. 10 minutes after the restart, though, I said no. I needed to make sure I wouldn't lose this game and at least get a point. Erling Haaland bangs one in from close range, makes it 1-1. And at this point, I'm throwing every sky blue shirt forward. I'm putting as much pressure on Crystal Palace as possible, trying to win the ball back high up the pitch. But, as I often talk about it, when that happens to you, when the AI play a high press, you can work the ball in behind and go through one-on-one. The AI can do it to you as well. Exactly what happened for Palace's second goal. They play the ball in behind after my high press. Street rolls it back to Joe Willock, who scored a reverse fixture and scores the winner in this one. Talk about revenge for Crystal Palace. Yep, I left them in the summer after winning them the FA Cup in Season 1. 5th place last year in the Premier League. We thrashed them at Selhurst Park. Talk about revenge. At the Etihad, lose 2-1. Massive, massive defeat. And whilst we got the big win against Norwich, whilst we beat Burnley to go through to the FA Cup 4th round here against Arsenal at the Emirates Stadium, and we beat the Saints as well, there's no doubt about it, I've certainly not been on my best recently, and the pressure is starting to get to me big time. Following game, how big was this? Arsenal away, Etihad Stadium. FA Cup 4th round on the back of the huge loss to Crystal Palace at home. Simply put, failed to win this game, get knocked out of the FA Cup, and there'll start to be speculation as to whether I should get the sack mid-season in a year where I've been asked to win the domestic double. We're watching Chelsea close the gap at the top of the table and getting knocked out in the last 32 of the FA Cup. Yep, no doubt about it. I would definitely start to have alarm bells ringing. So I had to win this game. I had to win this game. That was the perfect start. Inside the first 10 minutes, Erling Haaland bangs us into an early lead. And then 11.5 minutes in, Bernardo Silva. Do you know what? I have not mentioned this guy this season. Nowhere near as much as I should. He's my second highest scorer. He's been amazing. He scored some absolute crackers from range. He's fantastic. And at the time recording this commentary, he is still a Man City player. There's been a lot of talk he's going to go to Barcelona though. How are Barcelona getting all this money? I don't understand. But even so, he's been amazing for me this season, man. Absolutely amazing. He scores our second. We could have gone 3-0 up as well right before the break. We had a couple of golden chances. Haaland heading wide there. And then the Silva offloads to Alvarez. His shot blocked. Silva keeps the chance alive and finds Haaland. And as he gets tripped up, look at that. 2 players down in the same phase of play. Both Silva and Haaland. I took them both off at the break, even though they were my 2 goal scorers, because I could not afford long-term injuries for my 2 top players this season. I had to trust my backup side would see the game out. Out of 11 minutes to go, we would. I played lockdown defence on Arsenal. We were breached too easily against Crystal Palace, but in this game, I did not give the Gunners a sniff. Phil Foden wraps it up, and that would do it. Final score in North London. And what was I talking about a couple episodes ago when I was having that real interesting psychological chat? Yup, bouncing back, baby. Bouncing back. Those soul-crushing, ego-death moments. Bouncing back. Just here against Arsenal in the best way possible. 3-0 the final score. Shut the door. And I mean bolted it. I barricaded the door. They got nowhere near me in that game. I'm going to be honest here, that's probably my best defensive performance for FIFA 22. I really should have included some defensive highlights because they got nowhere near me. They got absolutely nowhere near me. I shut them down, and thankfully, thank God for this as well, come the end of full-time whistle. Well, we've seen that Calvin Phillips is out for 4 weeks, but Silva and Haaland just got knocks. Thank God for that. My top 2 players, my top 2 scorers, thank God for that. They're okay for the exact next game. A Manchester derby at home to Eric Ten Hag's Red Devils. So huge, huge win there. Brilliant bounce back. 3-0 at the Emirates Stadium through to the last 16 of the FA Cup. So following the big win there, Manchester United at the Etihad Stadium. Our first defeat at the Etihad coming to Crystal Palace. Our first game after that loss. Let's just say, wasn't prepared to have back-to-back defeats. Manchester United in the Manchester derby drew 0-0 at Old Trafford, but in this game, I sensed an opportunity to win big. We took an early lead through Phil Foden, his 7th of the season, 25 minutes in, gave us the breakthrough and we had the 1-goal advantage. But there weren't really many chances at Old Trafford, and there weren't too many chances in the first half of this game either. You know that cliche, right? Football's a game of two halves. Well, 5 minutes after the restart, after a pretty poor first half, all things considered, we were leading by 1, and 5 minutes into the restart, João Cancelo rolls through Haaland. And what have I talked about Haaland, man? Like, seriously, his ability to run off the shoulder, his ability to breach the back line and a high defensive line, with the pace he's got, and particularly the burst of acceleration he's got, man, oh man, it's unstoppable. Absolutely unstoppable. If he times his run perfectly and the through ball is good, and let's be honest, with Man City's fantastic technical ability, especially with the likes of Kevin De Bruyne in their team, that's going to happen more times than not. How do you stop him? Well, you don't. Haaland runs off the shoulder, goes through 1-on-1, makes it 2-0, and whilst they gifted the Red Devils a goal back through Alexander Isak to half the deficit, right from kickoff, I didn't feel fearful. I didn't feel as though I was going to throw this game away from 2-0 up. I felt I'd see the game out and probably restore my 2-goal cushion. Right from kickoff, working the ball forward, João Cancelo down the left-hand side, gets around Kyle Walker-Peters, offloads to Jack Grealish. Who's in the middle? It's Erling Haaland, but in the end, Jack goes himself. Beats his last man with a ball roll, everyone goes to Haaland. That gives Grealish a chance to shoot the near post, which he does, beats De Gea, and it is 3-1 Manchester City. And right after surrendering our 2-goal cushion, we've restored it, we get it back, and with 60 minutes to go as Riyad Mahrez runs through 1-on-1. Yep, not ashamed to do it. Little cutback. Haaland will wrap it up. Because of how tight it is right now in the league table, we know it might well come down to goal difference. And if that's the case, we've got to win our games big, which we do. 4-1 victory there against Ten Hag's side. And my first Manchester derby victory here at the Etihad Stadium. Erling with a brace, 1 for Foden and 1 for Grealish. That front three this season has been unbelievable. And with Bernardo Silva behind with KDB, yeah, it's not really a surprise with the top scorers this season, and Haaland's the top scorer in the competition as well. Grealish and Foden on the wings, either as inside forwards or as natural wingers. Haaland as the out-and-out number 9, and behind you got Bernardo Silva, my second highest scorer, and Kevin De Bruyne, the ultimate playmaker. Yeah, no surprise with the top scorers in the league this year. So as deadline day will come around, we had around £60 million in our budget, and like I said in the last episode when the January window opened, I had no plans to do anything on deadline day whatsoever. In the end, as you'll see, we did do one deal, but it wasn't really interesting. But I always show everything anyway for transparency. Robertson, he's a young English midfielder. We loaned him out to Turf Moor. But the ridiculous transfers you get in career mode, man. I had to talk about this today. You know, obviously we've talked a lot about the upcoming game, FIFA 23. You know, the lack of new features. We're all a little bit disappointed about it. Obviously, as we often are when the new features get announced, we know it's never anything too groundbreaking for the most part. Everyone a little bit disappointed this year in the career mode community about the lack of new features. You know, and I said it before. I don't mind too much, so long as the game is fixed, you know, so long as the game doesn't have too many ridiculous bugs like De Gea playing right back every now and then or whatever. You know, we want the game to be, you know, fixed and more playable, if you will, you know. But one thing I also want as well is a more realistic transfer market. Now, it's gotten better, don't get me wrong. Now, if you play FIFA Career Mode back in the day of like FIFA 13, FIFA 14, you'll remember there were times where like Bayern Munich might have like 8 of the best strikers in the world. Lewandowski, Harry Kane, you know, and so on and so forth, you know. It's not quite as bad as it used to be, but it is still quite unrealistic. We had a huge bid for Reuben Diaz. Wolves somehow scraped together £130 million. Why? Right, first of all, why would I sell, like, one of the best centre-backs in the Premier League and in the world to a mid-table Wolves side? Why would he want to go there? Like, in what world would Bruno Lage think, right, we could do with a new centre-half, who should we try and get? You know, a European lad from you know, Ligue 1 or the Portuguese League, or, you know, a mid-table Premier League side, you know, or a Championship side, perhaps recruiting from the lower leagues or whatever. Nah, let's go after Reuben Diaz, shall we? 130 mil. What? Like, in what world, EA? In what world? And then you saw Benfica putting in a bit of around the same amount of money for Phil Foden, academy graduate on his way to being a Man City legend. Like, what? Like, it makes no sense. Like, the ridiculous transfers in career mode are still very much alive, and I really do feel, we talked about it before, trends are changing. You know, trends are changing, as they do in real life and in football and in video games as well. Trends are changing, and a lot of people nowadays, not everyone, but a lot of people nowadays want a more realistic game mode. They want a game mode which can be mirrored like you see in real life as well. Reuben Diaz to Wolves for 130 million is as unrealistic as it gets, you know, and it's like, I just feel for EA, they've got to understand that trends are changing. Now, I understand that the game does need to be streamlined. It does. The game mode needs to be streamlined. It can't be like Football Manager. It can't. It can't be that detailed. It can't be in depth. And it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't. It needs to be streamlined as it is right now. But it needs to have a more realistic feel to it as well, because I think when you see those sort of things, they really do break away from the immersion. And when you've got a goalkeeper playing right back, it does the same thing as well. And it really can put you off at times. And I think, you know, the transfer market, like I said, has gotten better, but it's still far away from where it needs to be. It needs to be more realistic. It needs to be something which isn't beyond the realms of possibility. Because at the moment, it still is. You know, you still see crazy transfers. And in January as well, it's deadline day. There's like 9 hours on the clock. Wolves are desperate for a centre-half. Let's put in a £130 million bid for Reuben Diaz with 9 hours to go in the transfer window in January. What? Like, come on, you know? And I really hope that EA understand that these transfers here, they just shouldn't happen. They just should not happen, and they should not be part of the game. Even so, deadline day ended. We loaned out Robertson to Burnley. Not that he's played a minute this season anyway. And for the following game against Fulham here, looking to get back-to-back wins in the Premier League. And we got it. From 2-0 down, we won it 3-2. Haaland bagged a brace, and then the second half, right after the restart, Max Aarons makes it 3-2. Yeah, that would have been a really poor defeat there. And our second loss in 3 in the Premier League. 2-0 down to Fulham. What a response. We turned the game on its head and win big. 3-2. And as you can see in the table right now, oh, we needed that. A bit of a breathing room on Chelsea now. From 3 points, the gap is now 8. Still the top scorers with the best defensive record. Far superior goal difference as well. Like I said, it could come down to that. But now, in the business end of the season, 8-point gap. The title is ours to lose. But that will end today's episode of the Really Summer Career, guys. Big thank you for watching. Hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day. And I'll see you for the next episode of the Realistic Summer Career Mode very soon.